So looking at the Illustrator requirements, there's a requirement for turning a shape, just a basic shape in Illustrator, into a three-dimensional form, and then adding a gradient to each side of that form. So we begin with a shape, and we use an effect to turn it into a 3D form. So going from shape to form, this is just a basic canvas in Illustrator. Again, it doesn't really matter which size, since you're going to be placing it back into Photoshop for this assignment. So let's just I'm going to start with something. I recommend using the rectangle tool, either making a three-dimensional rectangular prism or starting with a square and changing it into a cube. All right, so immediately we're on the rectangle tool, and we want to, I'm just going to start with any color here, and I don't need a stroke. So you go to the stroke, and that red slash will take off the stroke. So we have a fill of this bright green. Holding down shift is going to give me a perfect square. Go to the selection tool. All right, so I selected it, and then I go to effect, 3D, extrude and bevel. I can tell you right now that you're just going to have to kind of experiment with some of these different settings here, and each setting is going to give you a different result. So what you can do is preview it, and that's what it looks like if you leave it at this setting. Now I'm going to move the extrude depth a little bit higher. Oh, that's a nice cube. Perfect. Okay. Okay. All right. Awesome. Nice. So it went from a square to a cube, from shape to form. Now, P for the pen tool. I'm going to take off the fill. I'm going to use just a simple black stroke. I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to trace this front side first. Looks right. Go to the selection tool, and I'm going to actually take off the stroke, and I'm going to fill it. Let's see, I'm going to fill it with a gradient. Of course, why am I stalling here? We're using gradients. So I'm going to actually go to the gradient tool. And if you double click the gradient tool, you get the gradient panel. Watch this. You can just, it's sort of like Photoshop. You can just kind of slide it across. Where is it? What's going on here? All right, gradient, slide it. Why is it not working? You have to click on it first. Okay. You just have to play around with it for a bit. I don't know what I did here. So I'm going to undo a bunch of stuff. What is that? What is going on? All right, back to the selection tool. Okay, now I'm ready for this gradient. Okay, double click, click, there it is. Now, if you want to change the color, double click the stop. Then you can go in here and add colors to it. And again, you can move these sliders around. You can add multiple stops. Make any kind of a gradient you want. Move the sliders around. Double click the stop, and that will give you more options. Basically, that's how we're going to do this. Now, go back to the selection tool, and let's take off the stroke. So we just have the gradient fill left over that form. Next side, back to the pen tool. Zoom in. Fill of nothing, stroke black. I'm not sure what happened there. Let's try that again. No fill, black stroke. Oh, why are you doing that? Okay. Yikes. What? For some reason, it's not letting me. I'll just do that. There we go. Select gradient. Oh, don't want to put the gradient on the stroke. You want to take the stroke off. And put the gradient here. And then you can go in and change that gradient again. Or you can leave it. I might change it. I don't know. You get the idea. And then basically when you're finished this side, you're going to go to your layers palette. You're going to open up this here and just hide that rectangle underneath. Now you have to assume this side's finished too. You hide this bottom one. So all you have left is the gradient. And then you file save as an AI and then place it into your Photoshop and Illustrator review assignment.